check out our streaming schedule for this week. We've got tons of content in terms of the NFL and college football, as we're going live just about every single day this week. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single moment where we go live. And now, on with our feature presentation. October 21st, 2024. It's week 7 of the NFL season, and we head across the pond to London for this international game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New England Patriots. For the Jaguars, this game means the world to them, even though their season is over at 1-5 with an absolute gauntlet of a schedule coming up. And the reason why it means a ton is because, simply put, Doug Pederson is a dead man walking at head coach. If the Jaguars lose this game and drop to 1-6, it is more likely than not that Pederson is done, and the Super Bowl winning coach will have coached his last game in the NFL. Win this game, and he buys himself some time, and theoretically, the Jags can turn their season around, I suppose. Lose this game, and that thought goes out the window. So if you're Coach Pederson, and you know that you're coaching for your job, even if you don't outright say it, you better not do anything stupid that's going to make me pull my hair out and wonder why Shad Khan hasn't fired you yet. As for how that went, yeah, about that. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we post on the channel, because we post every single day about the weird and the wacky history of the NFL, and we post a lot of videos about the Jaguars absolutely destroying my sanity. We post videos from before the Jaguars were a thing and could hurt me. We post videos from the time when the Jaguars were a semi-competent franchise. We post videos about a lot of stuff with the NFL here, so if you like that sort of stuff, this is the place for you. Thanks in advance for your support as we try and hit 70,000 subscribers. And so far for the Jaguars, this game has been going well. After trailing 10-0, the Jaguars find themselves up 25-10, up by 2 scores with a chance to make it a 3-score game and officially put this one under wraps. After a lengthy drive that started with 7:34 left in the third quarter and has consisted of 10 straight runs thus far, the Jags find themselves facing 3rd and 2, where Tank Bigsby, who went from unplayable to a top 5 back in football seemingly overnight, gets stuffed for no gain on the play or maybe a gain of 1. Now, it's 4th down, and the Jaguars can go up by 18 points to make it a 3-score game with a field goal, which would be an almost insurmountable deficit for the Patriots to make up. So naturally, they send the field goal unit onto the field. And they know, God, what are you going for? You can literally end the game right here if you kick it. Why are you going for it? Doug Pederson, you absolute moron. Kelly Lamb doing it, England. Why are you going for it? Why are you going?
They're going to give it to the big fella, and it looks like he is not going to get it.
Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something to look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something to look awful almost immediately. These are moves where a gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this could possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of Jacksonville Jaguars head coach Doug Pederson. This man is going to be the bane of my existence if he isn't already. This man has been so bad as a coach of the Jaguars, and I could go on and on about some of the absolutely horrible things he's done throughout his tenure. If you've seen my Jaguar rants, you already know. So I'm going to save you the time and energy, but if you do want to see some previous episodes of Pederson on Dumb Decisions, you can do so by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And somehow, from an in-game management standpoint, this was one of his dumbest ones. On a day where a loss would all but ensure the fact that he was fired, he decided to play with fire by doing something absolutely moronic that almost cost Jacksonville the game. So with that being said, let's take a look at why going for it on 4th and 1 in the 4th quarter, up by 15 points, is a really bad idea. And I want to make it extremely clear. Going for it on 4th and 1 wasn't the problem. Yes, the Jaguars absolutely stink on 4th down. If the Jags are going for it on 4th down and they don't have to, like we saw in Week 1 against Miami, or in Week 5 against Indianapolis, congratulations, because your defense will get off the field. But this is a situation where I would have had no problem going for it, depending on the score of the game. If this was an 11-point game, yeah, leave the offense on the field and go for it. If this was a 17-point game, yeah, why not? Leave the offense on the field and go for it. There are certain situations especially considering your general success on the ground this far in the game, and especially on that drive, where you can go for it at the same yard line with the same amount of time left, and I'd be okay with it, even if it didn't work out. However, Doug Pederson managed to pick one of the only scores where this would make no sense at all. I think it's a fair assumption to say that the field goal would have been made, seeing as Cam Little has been automatic this season, and it would have been taken from the 6-yard line, so it would have been a chip shot from 25 yards out. So with that in mind, let's weigh the pros and cons of kicking the field goal versus going for it. Suppose you do what any smart coach would have done in that spot, and that is kick the field goal to go up 28-10. At this juncture in the game, points aren't really what matters. It's about possessions, because even if the Patriots score on every drive from this point on, if they don't have enough time, then they can't do anything and win the game. If you kick the field goal and go up by 18 points, that makes it a 3-score game. With 10 minutes left, it'd be practically impossible, barring a minor miracle, for the Patriots to come back. With 10 minutes left, I'm not even sure the Patriots have enough time for 3 quality possessions. You're daring a rookie quarterback in his second ever start to make up an 18-point deficit, and you're daring a defense that hasn't stopped the run all game to get the ball back without having the Jags drain the clock the next time they touch it. At 28-10, no one in their right mind thinks that the Patriots have any chance at winning the contest. Obviously, the con for kicking the field goal is that you give the ball back to the Patriots with 10 minutes left. You can't drain more time off the clock, and you can't score a touchdown. But is that really relevant? Does that matter at all? If you were to go for it and get it, you're going to be at the 5-yard line. The drive has a finite ending, which is the end zone. It would be a goal-to-go situation. There's only 2 minutes max that you could even continue to drain off the clock at that point. And I don't think there's too much of a difference between having a 3-score lead with 10 minutes left and a 3-score lead with 8 minutes left. It's not like you went for it on the 35-yard line. If you go for it, you get it, and you score a touchdown, you go up 32-10, which puts the game out of reach since it's a 3-score game with about 9 minutes left. But you know what also puts the game out of reach? That's right, kicking the field goal, going up 28-10, and making it a 3-score game with 10 minutes left. Yes, it's better to be up 32-10 versus 28-10, I suppose. But the difference is so insanely marginal at this stage in this contest that it's pointless. If this was pre-1994 before the 2-point conversion existed, fine. Although that would be a pointless hypothetical, seeing as the Jaguars were up 25-10 in the first place because they got a 2 in the first half. But today, no way. Because now, let's say you go for it like you've done all season and you miss it. Let's say that, just like the last run, where everyone knows they are running the football here, you get stuffed and you turn the ball over on downs. Now, you're only up by 2 scores instead of 3. Now, if the Patriots drive down the field and get a touchdown, it's potentially a 1-score game. If you kick the field goal and the Pats drove down the field and got the touchdown, it's still a 2-score game midway through the 4th quarter, and the Patriots need to do a lot in order to win. A 1-score game? It's anyone's contest at that point. And it's not like the Jags have a history of allowing big plays and quick drives. It's not like they allowed Joe Flacco and the Colts, down 34-20, to erase the deficit in 3 minutes. It's not like they allowed the Dolphins to score an 80-yard touchdown on the first play of a drive following a Travis Etienne fumble. That'd be crazy if they had a history that season and still decided to do that, right? Right? God, this decision was so freaking stupid. Don't get the first down, and a Patriots touchdown puts them within striking distance. And it would have, had it not been for Jalen Polk being absolutely terrible at his job and falling down on a wide-open out route on the 2-point conversion. Because they drove down the field within 2 minutes of getting the stop. Every Jaguars fan in the world watching this game knew the moment that the Jags got stuffed on 4th down that they were going to allow a score, and the Patriots were going to get right back into it. We just knew. And you want to know how I know that Doug Pederson is not a good head coach? Other than the fact that I have eyes? Because this is what Pederson had to say after the game about his decision to go for it instead of kicking the field goal. Take a listen.
Yeah, situations like that, it's going to happen. I was just, to go back to the decision, I mean, I was riding the momentum of what we were doing leading up to that point. Our offensive line was really, taking control of the game at that point, and I felt like just putting it in their hands one more time, getting the first down right there, and potentially, ice the game at that point.
Wait a second. So you decided to go for it because you figured that if you got it, you'd be able to ice the game right then and there? I guess that makes sense. I take back everything I said, Doug. I was pretty premature on this. Your definition of icing it was getting the first down and getting the touchdown to go up by 3 scores. Your definition of icing it was going up by 3 scores, and I suppose that makes sense, and I can definitely understand the logic there. My bad. If going up by 3 scores is icing it, there's another way that you can ice it, and that is, kicking the freaking field goal! Outside of what the Patriots would need on the 3rd possession, which they might not even have time for, what is the honest difference between being up by 18 and being up by 22? Especially when compared to the difference of being between 15 and 18 points? What's the difference between being up by 22, where the Patriots need 3 touchdowns, and being up by 18, where the Patriots could theoretically need 3 touchdowns, depending on what happens on the 2-point conversion? The logic makes no sense. It's like if, in Jeopardy, you have $18,000, and your next closest opponent has $10,000, and it's the last question on the board, and you have the daily double, and you decide to wager $8,000 instead of wagering $2,001, because you want to ice the game right then and there. This is the guy leading the supposed greatest team in Jaguars history, and he had no idea that a field goal made it a 3-score game. This man, who has been allergic to taking the points his entire Jaguar tenure, genuinely thought that kicking the field goal to make it a 3-score game wouldn't have iced it. But going for it to kill maybe 1 more minute off the clock, seeing where they were on the field for the possibility of making a 3-score game, would have iced it. How does that make sense? I'll tell you how, it doesn't. Give me a freaking break, Doug. Look, it's no secret that when it comes to this team behind me right here, head coach Doug Pederson has been so bad at in-game management situations, especially when it matters most. I've done a lot of dumb decisions on Pederson. I linked one before. I'm going to link another one that you can watch from the 2023 season by clicking the card in the upper right corner or the link in the description. I'm not saying the Jaguars turn their season around because they won't. Their next 5 games are murderer's row. They got the Packers, Eagles, Lions, Vikings, and Texans. All 5 teams would currently be in the playoffs if the season ended today. What I am saying is that Doug Pederson's going to have to be a heck of a lot smarter if the Jags have any chance at turning their season around. Do I think he's going to? Do I think he's going to? Yeah, God, no. So what do we learn from all of this? If you can go up by 3 scores midway through the 4th quarter, then do it. If you have 2 options, and one guarantees the fact that you'll go up by 3 scores midway through the 4th quarter, and the other option doesn't guarantee the fact that you'll go by 3 scores midway through the 4th quarter, then by God, take the option that guarantees the fact that you'll go up by 3 scores. If your definition of icing it is making it a 3-score game, and you have a chance to make it a 3-score game with no questions asked, then to not do that is utterly insane and shows a complete lack of awareness of the in-game situation around you, especially when you can't even kill more clock. And if your name is Doug Pederson, I need you to stop coaching this football team before you destroy my sanity even more than you already have, which is a lot. A lot of my sanity is gone because of you. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Be sure to like and subscribe if you have not done so already, as it helps the channel out a lot. And check out my other channels, JG8 for the history of college football, JG7 for the history of baseball, and JG9 News, where we talk about all things happening in the NFL. Join me every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we'll play live NFL trivia for cash prizes. And make sure to join me live, as we're on stream just about every single day. And thanks to all our Patreon members and our YouTube members for helping out the channel. See how you become a member and show your support financially in the description down below.